Hi everyone, I am so excited. I am jumping on today with somebody who is very, very near and dear to me, who really changed the game for me and my success with the company that I'm in now. Ooh, backdrop off, whack, there we go. Little tricks there. You know, when I think of Sara Reed, who you guys are all going to be meeting here soon, I think of like a scenario where two little girls are brand new to a school and they're out on a playground and a school bully comes by and just knocks them both down. They don't really know each other yet, but they kind of look at each other and, you know, they help pick each other up and they dust each other off or dust themselves off, and they're like, we're going to get through this and we're going to do it together. Sara Reed completely inspired me to get unstuck from the life that I was living previous to the success that I've had now. And this woman is a force to be reckoned with. She is very inspiring, so it's going to be a very, actually kind of intense and truthful interview today. She's going to share some of her top secrets with you guys, and I know that you guys will be able to really learn a lot from her. So I'm going to quickly send her an invite. Let's see. Okay, it's only going to let me do people that are watching. Hold on. I'm going to quick grab her up here. She's waiting, I know she is. Okay. There we go. Okay, I sent her an invite. Oh, there we go. Hey, Sara. I'm going to try to invite you now. There we go. Okay. Cutting you. Just wait a second, guys. Isn't this crazy? Here she comes. Hi, Sara.
Hi. Sorry.
No, you're good. When you were messaging me to tell me when you're okay, I was just telling them about like kind of our little story, like how it was like you and myself coming together that totally changed the game for me personally, and just when we were both stuck and just coming together. So I'm super excited. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much, Sara, for taking time out of your day. Like, guys, I don't know what the heck happened. Are we frozen? Can you hear me? Shoot. I don't know what's happening. We're getting hearts. Oh. Are we unstuck? Okay, I think Sara had to jump off. We got stuck. Something happened here. Oh, crap. Okay, hold on, guys. We'll get this. All right, here we go. All right. Sorry, Sara.
There, we should be unstuck.
Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Internet demons, right? So I wanted to thank Sara for jumping on with us, guys. She's got a massive, massive organization, and she's not even on my personal team. MONAT is somewhere where people come together as a family, no matter what lines they're on. And Sara and I were lucky enough to have found each other in the very, very beginning stages of our journey with this company. We were just babies. We were scared crapless. We had no idea what we were doing. So we were able to link arms and kind of help each other through those times. And so she is now at the very tippy top of the company. She is a 7-figure income earner and has built a massive organization. And it's just insane to see the growth and the lives that have been changed because she said yes and she didn't give up. We've all encountered those tough times, and so I just asked her today if she would do an interview with me, and she said yes. So I don't know. Sarah, do you have anything you want to say before we start?
No, I'll let you. I'll let you. I'll let you do the interviewing, and I'll just follow along accordingly. But well, wait, no, that's not true. I do. Nikki's right. When I was really stuck, we banded together and just said, okay, we're gonna figure out how to do this and make it work. And I was thinking about this the other day in my car, just how thankful I am for you. And I should probably express that more than I do. But if it really wasn't for Nikki saying, okay, yeah, let's do this, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, I mean, thank you.
No, you're welcome. The feeling is definitely mutual. I think about it all the time. Like when those little demons creep into my head, and I mean, because they do. It's just human nature. I'm like, okay, where did we start? Where did this all start building and going right so I can do it over again? You know? Okay, so we'll just get started. So my first question for Sarah is, what was the ultimate aha moment for you in deciding that you wanted to join or sign up to represent MONAT as a company and the product?
Oh my gosh. Let me think about that for a second. Because it took me, honestly, it took me a long time to jump on board. It took me 2 months. I wasn't interested. I felt like I didn't have enough time. I felt like I didn't want to be a part of one of those things. I mean, it really took me a minute to come around and realize the potential. And honestly, if it wasn't for the products, I wouldn't be here. It was because I love the products. But so my direct upline, and Nikki knows, and a lot of you might already know this too, but my direct upline is Julie Stevens, and she's our #1 income earner. She also happens to be like one of my very best friends. So I got to see behind the scenes. I got to see what her paycheck was, and I got to see her belief and her drive. And I was like, I want that. I want that. We were really struggling financially, even though I was painting to the whole world that I was super successful as a hairstylist, and I was, but not financially and not emotionally. I was not emotionally successful because I was so tired and run down, and I was missing so much time with my family. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine this being the rest of my life, feeling the way that I do, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So when Julie was like, look, this is the answer to everything that you've just listed off to me, that you don't have enough time. Sarah, why don't you have enough time? Because you're working too much. Like, here's your answer for that, to be able to take a step back and spend more time with your family. Why aren't you feeling fulfilled emotionally? Again, it was because I was so void from my family. And this would introduce a way for me to be able to spend more time with my family. So it was the answer to all of the problems that I had, and I didn't even realize it. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. They don't even realize that this could be the answer to everything that they they're awake every night, laying in their bed, thinking about, stressing about. This could be the answer for that. And that's really what was my big realization was, oh my gosh, she's right. This could be that. And if it's not, so what? Then I'm out. What? Great products. I get a discount on the products.
Right.
I didn't have to invest like I did for my salon. So it was no risk, and it was a no-brainer for me to at least try.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. I mean, and I agree the same way. And I wasn't a stylist. I wasn't in the industry, but I was a teacher, and I was 17 years in and stuck and living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes less than that, you know? And I mean, Corey and I started out in a freaking twin size bed renting from a friend of ours, you know? And it's just like, it's so humbling to remember where you came from in the beginning and where it's taken us. So I'm so glad that I risked, you know, my couple $100 in the beginning, because it's changed everything. And if nothing else, it brought people like you into my life that are such an inspiration, like on a daily basis. So I know that this is your first direct sales experience, and you were a stylist salon owner previous to doing this. What were your fears about taking that leap? And then what did you pretty much overcome right?
Oh my gosh.
From them.
My biggest fear was, so I'm, like Nikki said, I'm a hairstylist of 10 years. I did hair for 10 years. I'm a vivid specialist and I'm an extension specialist. Vivid specialist, which is like the rainbow hair, even though I'm way boring and I could never pull it off. But it's like this own subculture within the stylist community, and it's very tight knit. And I was so worried about, and even just stylists in general, I was so worried about, oh my gosh, what will my peers think of me? That I'm doing one of those things and I'm not using a professional line. And I was so worried about what everybody else would think, but not just my peers, my colleagues. I was worried about what my family would think, what my friends would think. I was so worried about what everybody would think of me. And it took me about a year. It took me about a year to realize the people who matter the most in your life are going to support you no matter what. They're going to encourage you no matter what. And the people who don't, they don't deserve any of your time or your headspace. It took me a minute to realize that. And other people's opinions don't pay my bills. They weren't paying my bills at the time. I mean, it literally for me, when I realized like I'm holding myself back from so much, worried about what other people think about me, I might as well just literally give them the PIN code to my debit card and say, here you go. You can have all of it. I don't need it. You can have it. You're more important than my dreams, my hopes, my goals, that vacation that I want to take with my family, that college fund that I want to set up for my son, the mortgage on my mom's house that I'm able to pay today. I mean, all of these things, I realized that I was just handing them over to other people. And once I was like, you know what, my ride or die people, they get me. And they're not in MONAT, but they root me on 100%. And the people that don't matter.
Mm-mm. Yep, it's so true. And then that whole thing, that fear of rejection and what other people think, like, amen, you named it. And I think that's the one thing that I have that conversation over and over and over with people. And I mean, we're always bringing people in new, and it's okay to feel that way because we all have gone through
We all did.
But I always tell them, like, their opinions, their eye rolls, they're ignoring you. Doesn't pay your bills, so don't worry about it. Like, seriously. And then it's internally as well. It's almost like if you're fearful of that rejection, you're more concerned with your self-image at that point than possibly impacting that next person's life that really, really freaking needs you and what you have to offer. I think that comes in a little bit later after you kind of succeed a little bit and you start to grow and you start to have that force into people's lives, that you start to see, like, single moms being able to stay home with their little ones, pay off debt, afford medical bills that they couldn't have afforded before. But it just, there's levels to it all. And it's so fun to see, like, those layers peeled off of your eyes every new adventure that unfolds, So thank you for that. It's powerful for sure. Number 3, what is your favorite thing about the MONAT products in general? So not necessarily like a particular product, but them as a whole. And then your favorite thing about the company or the family behind the brand.
So about the products, for me, I was using a line out of Australia before MONAT. It smelled good. It had super kitschy marketing, like really quirky and weird. Nobody else was using them. Their packaging was on point. Like, I didn't love them because they performed. I just figured shampoo is shampoo, and that's about it. As long as I'm using something sulfate free, I use a volume system I got a call. I use a volume product for people who need volume, yada, yada, yada. I wasn't really thinking about impact, and I don't care what other stylists say. There's a lot out there who are the same. They're looking at the name brand, right? Like, they're looking at status. not necessarily just performance. I'm not saying that about all stylists.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that about a lot, because I have a lot of friends who are still stylists and they're not with MONAT, and that's the same thing. So I love that they perform. I love that they perform, and I love that I was blown away the first time that I used it. The first time that I used it, I was like, wait a minute, this is different than what I've been using before. And I also loved that it was so stupid simple for my clients. You know, if I had a client, because I did vivid color, if I had a client who had vivid color, had extensions, and was also thinning, normally I would have to pick like 18 different products from different lines and say, okay, you're going to need this from this place and this place. With MONAT, I can hand them one system and say, here you go. This is all that you need. You don't need 18 million different products. Everything that you need is right here, no matter what the hair concern is, whether it's breakage, damage, extension care, scalp care, hair loss, thinning, color care, volume, you name it, curl care. And it doesn't matter what the hair type is either. So I love that it's universal, and we have something for every issue or concern.
Yeah. I remember in the very beginning, I think I reached out to you because I knew that you're a stylist, and I was trying to speak to other stylists. I have, I guess, a kind of a background in the hair industry because my mom was a master barber of like 35 years. But at the time, she was like very skeptical of it. She's like, in all my years of training, product knowledge, everything else, I've just never seen anything that's going to deliver what you're saying it's going to deliver. So I had to dig deeper, and I found Sara. But I remember one of the things that you said to me, and it's something that I often bring up to stylists, is you're like, look, one of our main jobs is to ensure that our clients are getting the best products for their needs and their struggles. And to this point, I haven't seen anything yet on the market that covers that whole broad spectrum, from hair growth, loss, fallout, follicular strength, and all of it. So it was almost like you felt at some point that it was your responsibility, you know, to provide them with that. I always tell people it's the hair care of the future. It's just something that, you know, the company invested in so deeply that they made sure that it performed unlike anything else that's capable, you know? So
yeah, and I had to get over myself. Like, who am I to keep something away from my clients when I know that it works?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared where it came from. If it came from the grocery store, if it came from a flea market, like, if I wouldn't have cared. As long as it worked and it did what it said it did, who am I to keep that from them because of the method that it's sold or the label that's on the bottle? And that came through some self-realization too along the way. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then just the other part is like, what is your favorite thing about the company or the family behind the brand?
So this is actually an easy one because we just had this, the cruise. We had a ton of people go on the cruise. MONAT paid for, I don't know, countless, like 1,500 people or something like that, to go to Bermuda on this lavish trip. And they were there singing karaoke with them. They were at every dinner. They are so involved in everything. And I had a couple of teammates who unfortunately were on a moped accident, and one really, she hurt herself pretty badly. And they were making sure, checking in with her multiple times a day, looking for her to make sure that she's okay. We had another market partner who also was in a separate incident, and it was the same thing. The level of concern, they really do treat people like family, and our success is their priority, because at the end of the day, they're not successful unless we're successful.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's all about it. There's no I in this. There's no man at the top, like, trying to rake in his money and stuffing his money in, these bags and hoarding it for himself. We have one of the most generous compensation plans I've ever seen in my entire life. And I look at them all because I want to know what I'm up against.
Yep.
We're in like the top 2% for compensation payout. They don't have to do that. They don't have to do that at all. They can go average, but they don't, because they know that if they treat their people well and they take care of their people in return, business is going to grow and flourish, and it has. And that's because they take amazing care of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was just blown away the other day. There was a roundtable interview that we all got to kind of sit in and watch. It was live. And our president kind of pointed over to who's not related to the family. So for those of you that don't know, it's a family-oriented thing. But our president was somebody that they pulled in from the outside. And he pointed at the founder and his son, the CEO, and said, I just want you guys to know, like, they can't say this, but I can say this. In all the millions and millions and millions of product we've sold and all the profit we've made, they have not taken a dime. It's all been put back into us. And, you know, I often like think about that, like try to crunch numbers and make sense of it all in my head. But it's like, really, there is no room for them to take it. Like with everything that they do for us, the cruises, the bonuses, the car program. I mean, we have over 600 cars out on the road right now. And this program, just the car program, just launched a year and a half ago. Like, that's just so insane to me. You know, I've never seen anything like it. And that is just, I mean, their generosity just, it kills me. We're so lucky, so lucky. Okay, so I just want to know if you can name a few of the things that stand out most to you that you've earned or that you've been able to do in your life that you would not have otherwise in your life previous to MONAT and your, you know, coming into your lap.
Oh, this is where things get like emotional for me, and I'm a big sob, so forgive me. But I mean, it really has. It's completely changed our lives in so many ways. You know, when before this business, I mean, I was painting this illusion that we were super successful, and nobody really had any idea how bad it was, how bad our debt was, that my car was falling apart. I would park my car so far away from my salon because I didn't want people to know what I drove. I mean, and like all of that is just, you know, kind of surface material things, but I wasn't dreaming. I just assumed that was going to be my life for forever. I was going to live this mediocre life, and I was completely okay with it because I didn't know another way. And MONAT has shown me another way, and being able to, you know, today I'm able to help my mom pay her mortgage every month. I'm able to give back to my grandparents and help them financially. You know, my husband's grandmother is here, and we just went and bought a brand new bed and all new bedding for her room so she's comfortable. I would never be able to do those kinds of things. And it's not necessarily, you know, money isn't everything. I know that that's a thing, but it damn sure makes things a lot easier, and it makes you it gives you the ability to give back in ways that you never thought possible. You know, doing charity events and giving back to our community the center focus of our events, and the sisterhood that comes from it. I mean, it's done so much for me. I didn't have any friends before MONAT, and that's the other thing. I was not well connected. I didn't have a huge network. I didn't have this awesome social media platform and a ton of followers. I wasn't in the PTA. We haven't been to church in I don't know how long. Please forgive me for that, but I pray. I just didn't have this huge circle of people, but I was still able to build a very successful, thriving organization without all of that. I dropped out of high school, dropped out of college. I even dropped out of beauty school. I went back, but there's no special skill about me. I'm really nobody special. Honestly, I just wanted it bad enough, and I was hungry enough to make it work. And, you know, one of the biggest pet peeves that I see with other companies today is when they post like, you know, make $10,000. It's super easy from your yoga pants, yada, yada, yada. They're lying. They're lying. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's very simple and anybody can do it, but it takes consistency. It takes hard work. It's not easy, but it's simple. And I just stayed the course. That was it. And staying the course changed my life.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you. It's heavy. It can be heavy. And I mean, I agree with you there. I didn't know what it was to dream. And I think, in fact, I think about this sometimes, like the only time I ever dreamed or thought of things that have been brought into my life in this past couple of years, the things that I was able to check off my bucket list thus far, were things that I would only be able to think about if somebody said, what would you do if you won the lottery? And I think about that often, and that feeling that I would get inside, like warm and fuzzy, the butterflies. And then it was like crash. It would just be like, yeah, but you're not going to win the lottery. You don't even gamble, you know? And it's like, this was like hitting the lottery for me. And it, from the relationships to the trip I've been able to take, or the trips, I should say, multiple trips, paid for. Not to mention that if I wanted to do them on my own, I could have afforded them, but this company's just too generous. The people that have come into my life, and I mean, I was able to retire within 8 months of doing this. And then now my mom's finishing up her last 2 weeks, in, you know, in her job as well. I'm able to retire her 2 years early, or 10 years early. And that to me is like insane, all done in 2.5 years. Like, it's just dreams coming true. But I was never challenged to dream like this until you guys came into my life. And, you know, it's just insane to think of that kind of stuff. I could cry too, but we'll just move on to the next one. So, if you could offer up any advice to someone skeptical or on the fence about taking the chance and becoming a part of our team or family, or even if, I know a lot of people are hold themselves back because of like unsupportive spouses or partners, you know, how do they get past that, or what advice would you give?
You know, I'm really fortunate in the sense that my husband is so supportive. When I came home and I told him that I was doing this, it was about 3 or 4 months later, and I looked at him and I said, I'm going to retire you one day. And he just looked at me and nodded his head and smiled. And you know, he didn't believe me. He would never say that, but he was like, okay. But I sure did. But so it's hard for me to relate to that, but I do see it quite a bit within my organization. People who have unsupportive spouses, siblings, best friends, parents. I will say that I did have people that were very close to me that weren't very supportive of me, and it hurt, but it fueled my fire. It was like, okay, watch me burn. Watch me show you what's up. And then you'll be calling me and asking me how you can hop on board with me, which many have. But really, this has to be about you and nobody else. And maybe ask yourself why. Where's the block? Because most of the time, it is the belief that they don't have enough time, the belief that they don't know enough people, the belief that they couldn't. I'm not good at sales. I hear that all the time. I had all 3 of those and I still did it. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, if I can do this, anybody can do this. And it really is just taking one step in front of the next, putting one foot in front of the other and taking it bite by bite. And you grow along the way. But it has to be for you and nobody else, not even your kids. And I know that sounds so crazy, but you know, if you're using other people as a motivating factor to base your decisions on life-changing decisions, then I just feel like it really needs to come from you and within, and really evaluate where the hang up is. And it's okay if you don't have supportive people, because we didn't either. A lot of us didn't either. But that doesn't determine your success in any of this. If you want something bad enough, you'll make it happen, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So I wish I could give you a better answer on that.
No, I agree with you. I think what I would just tell people is you be the executive of your own life. And sometimes it takes us to have to make decisions that are absolutely bat crap bonkers to everyone else in our lives. But it's like, if you don't, then are you okay with staying where you are? And for me, I wasn't okay with it. And the more people told me no, I allowed it to fuel my fire. I was lucky too. Corey was very, very on board with it. He's like, whatever you want to do. You know, do you need any money for it? I think he even was asking me at one point, you know, but yeah, I think it's just sometimes you need to make that executive decision and ask yourself, what is the risk? What am I losing if I don't? What do I gain if I do? You know, and I think enough people have seen enough of us to know that it's possible. I mean,
Right.
if they're watching right now, they're knowing it's possible. You've got a 7-figure income earner right there. You've got 2 people who've earned Cadillacs, who have built organizations of thousands upon thousands of people, and we're not giving up. We're not stopping. And I, like Sara, also came from no following. I had 0 friends. In fact, my one best friend had picked up and left and went to the other side of the country and lived on an island and totally like just ignored me. And it was like, poof, gone. And I had nothing. Like, I built from nothing. And if we can do it, anybody can. So thanks for everything. I appreciate it. And then I guess my last question is just, what are some of the major changes that you've seen from day one to now with the relationship with like your family? So like, how has the relationship with your husband changed, or with your son? I know that's huge for you.
My dog's going crazy out there. Hey, can you get him for me? He's like, that's what he waits for all day, is to go out there and bark at the dog next door. You know, there was a time where my husband and I were like roommates. You know, we were like 2 ships in the night. We would trade off. He was a teacher during the day. I was bartending at night. I was doing hair during the day. And so we were just kind of trading shifts. And we've been married for 10 years. And I actually just wrote about a post about this the other day. It feels like I'm getting to know my husband for the first time in 10 years. And I love it. And the same thing with my son, being available whenever. It doesn't matter. I don't have to ask for permission to take him to the doctor. I can go and eat lunch with him on a Friday if I want to, and not have to ask anybody if it's okay. I don't have to call and let anybody know that I'm running late because I got stuck in the pickup line, or, you know, all of these, the flexibility and the freedom that comes with this. But really, what really has changed is, for the first time as a mom, it feels like I'm showing him what it's like to dream, and that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and you work hard, and showing him that he is worth so much more than just a regular 9-to-5 paycheck, and showing him to explore possibility, and to know that he is worthy of success. I don't know if I could have shown him that before, because I was just drudging along to the everyday. So yeah,
Hugs. Oh, I know. And it is so true. I think that's one of the main things that that's like one of the biggest dreams that parents have for their kids, is to teach them how to dream. But it's like, saying it is one thing, but actually being able to put it into action and show them that they can do it because you're doing it is a whole nother realm. And that's just another gift that we've had, you know. And now not only do we get to show our kids these things and help them to believe and dream of themselves, but we also get to do it to other people who are our age, where you feel like it's much too late. It's not too late. It's not for anybody. And you are capable. And you know, if I always tell people, if I can do it, you can, because I was a failure. I never finished anything I started ever.
Me too.
So,
Me too.
but it looks like we've been able to inspire quite a few people today, which is amazing. I'm glad. My phone. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It ended up getting a little bit longer than expected, but I think it was necessary, and I think it's good for people to be able to hear these things.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I was super excited when you asked me. So thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I love you, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye, y'all. See ya.
Bye.